Marcus. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Josh, and today I want to talk about Marcus Mariota. It's been going on, and it's been talked about in the news as of recent. Mariota being in his last year with the Tennessee Titans. Mariota, draft pick out of Oregon, second pick in the draft behind Jameis Winston, another struggling quarterback. But this video ain't about him. Mariota, in my opinion, is a good average quarterback. I would say he's an average quarterback. I feel like he's been given a bad break in his career. I feel like he showed a lot of promise coming out of Oregon. However, he hasn't really lived up to the hype. He hasn't really led the offense to where they need to be. He hasn't really gotten them over the hump. They've been a 9-17 at their best ever since he's been there. Their best year, they had a great running game, a great O-line, some really good receivers, and he played well. But I feel like over the years before that and after, with his injuries and the lack of great O-line play and the lack of great running in the offense, Mariota has been lackluster, to say the least. I say he been given a bad break because of the simple fact that a lot of people don't know this unless you follow the Titans, that Mariota changed offensive coordinators almost every year in his career. Mariota really hasn't had any stability with an OC. I know a lot of people may be like, well, that's not really a big deal, I guess you can say, but it is because of the simple fact that with offensive coordinator, those are the guys that's calling the plays that you run. Those are the guys that got to be in sync with their quarterbacks and they got to have a feel for their quarterback. They got to have chemistry with their quarterback because their quarterback is their play caller on the field and they're the play caller off the field. So they both got to be in sync because they are both running the offense. He's calling the offense, Mariota's running it. So they have to be in sync no matter what. And when you go through offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator, you have no chemistry there. So you have this one guy telling you to run the offense this way for 1 year. You get comfortable with him. He gets fired. Another guy comes in. Maybe a different type of guy. May want you to run the offense he runs. No audibles. Just run the way he runs it. You got to change. You got to adapt to that guy. He gets fired. You go to another guy, same thing, and he gets fired. And so it's like you don't really have no stability because you don't even get to run the offense that you want to run because you have no real feel for the offense you want to run. And that's not good for a young quarterback. So I feel like people are being so harsh on him considering the fact that he doesn't even have stability with his offense because every year it's dang near a different offense. And he can't really get into a groove as a quarterback to run the offense the way he wants to run it. So I feel like that's one reason why I think Mariota probably is giving a bad break and why people are misjudging him. Another thing is his O-line play. Mariota O-line play is not that good. It hasn't been that well this year. It's been terrible this year. And last year, it wasn't that good either. Like their O-line, they have probably one good O-lineman. Like really good O-lineman. The rest of them are average. They signed the Saffold guy from the Rams. But since he's been there, he hasn't been better. He hasn't really improved their O-line. The O-line has been worse since he got there. So far, he hasn't even been giving them great returns on that signing. You got Taylor Lewan, your best O-lineman, and the leader of your O-line that's out for 2 more weeks. Well, 1 more week now, but it's been out for the last 3 weeks. So you haven't even had him, and that's your best O-lineman. And so with the O-line play from last year and the O-line play this year, he hasn't really even had time in the pocket. So you don't have a great you changing OCs every single year. Your O-line isn't playing well. So it's like, dang, what is he supposed to do? You don't expect him to play great. I'm not saying he playing to expectation because let me tell you something, he could play better. You have guys who have had O-lines like his who hasn't played as well. But at the same time, how great is he supposed to play with those circumstances? He just got receivers. He's just got a lot of receiving threats this year. The past years, even his best year, he had average wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 caliber players playing at wide receiver 1. He finally had a top 5 pick in Corey Davis and a second round pick in AJ Brown and a really good slot in Adam Humphries, and a top tight end in Delanie Walker. He finally got those 4 guys, and that's probably the best. No, that's the best receiving core he's ever had since he's been in the league. And when he finally get that many weapons, he can't even have time in the pocket to throw it to those guys. And if you watch their offense, the offensive coordinator hasn't been that good because their offense is stale. You have really good weapons, young weapons, fast, athletic weapons, and you're not even using them. You're running standard plays that are hard to watch. They're doing draw plays on 2nd and long. They're doing simple short pass plays on 2nd and 19, 3rd and 19. They're not showing any creativity. You're not seeing a lot of play action. You're not seeing a lot of QB runs. And it's like, how is he supposed to get in a groove and how is he supposed to show how talented he is with that? So I feel like Mariota, man, people are just throwing him down like he's some terrible quarterback when he's better than, he's better than what people think he is. He just has a bad situation around him. Now, I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I'm not saying that the Titans shouldn't look into getting a new quarterback, but I'm not about to sit here and say he should be benched for a guy like Ryan Tannehill. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm not going to sit here and say that he doesn't even deserve to see what this year can do, because that's not fair towards him. Now, the only reason why I say Mariota probably won't be there next year is because even though I've spoken on what he had around him and how it hasn't been that great, he still hasn't played up to par. He still had bad games where his O-line was blocking for him. His running game was running well. His defense was lights out, and he still playing lackluster. So it's been many games where it was him. Where he wasn't playing up to par. Where he was making bad throws. Man, I'm not saying Mariota's a great player. I feel like he's not that accurate. You see too many times in his game where he'll throw the ball over a receiver that's right there, or he'll throw the ball under a receiver, doesn't read the defenses and throws it right to a cornerback, throws it nowhere in sight. I mean, he just makes bad throws sometimes. Makes simple, he dinks and dacks and dinks and dunks, and at times throws to the first and the most reliable option instead of taking risks downfield. Now, some of that I do believe is because of his OC and his play calling, but a lot of that's on him because you're the quarterback. If you see something, you go for it. If you have a 3rd and 9 and you have a receiver going on the out route that you know you can get a first down off of, and you have a slant which you know you might not get a first down off of, and you too scared to throw that out because it may be a harder throw than the slant, and you throwing the slant and you're not even getting the first down, then you're not being the quarterback that your team needs. That team needs a better quarterback. Their defense is top 5. You have weapons on offense. Your running game, you have a good running back, a starting caliber running back, a 1,000-yard caliber running back. Now, hopefully the O-line gets better when Lewan gets back. Hopefully. But at the same time, you have pieces around you, so it's not just like your O-line being bad is supposed to just make everything terrible for you. Because even when your O-line playing good, you're still making bad plays. And franchise quarterbacks aren't doing it. Franchise quarterback, when their O-line play good, they play good. Franchise quarterback take risks. Franchise quarterback make plays when there's no plays to be made. Franchise quarterback can get out of the pocket, escape, find a guy when their offensive line is playing bad. You look at the Russell Wilsons. You look at the Aaron Rodgers, the Patrick Mahomes, who have had times where their O-line hasn't been that good, and they still produced. Still have been able to get out the pocket and make plays. Mariota has legs. You can't sit here and say Mariota's a pocket passer, because even though he is a pocket passer, he plays like a pocket passer, which I will say again has something to do with the OC. He still has to be able to throw outside the pocket. He needs to be able to make those throws. So with Mariota, my whole thing is he didn't got a bad break. And I feel like people don't really show him the respect that I feel like he deserves, because sometimes he does play well, but at the same time, it's really hard to say how good he is, because when his O-line is playing good and the pieces around him are playing good, he doesn't play as well. And when the pieces around him aren't playing well, he is playing well. and sometimes he's playing up to par, and sometimes he's playing under par. That's why I say he's average. I feel like Mariota this year needs to take that jump into becoming the quarterback that his team needs him to be. I feel like if the O-line improves this year and they start blocking better once LeWan gets back, and Mariota still putting up subpar numbers, I think you look at a quarterback change. Mariota has to show this year that he can use his mobility to make plays outside the pocket, show that he can make elite throws, show that he can win games for his team, so that when his defense is giving him the ball and giving him the ball and giving him the ball, that he can produce on offense, and showing that he's not a liability for his team, but he is what the team needs. And he has to be available also. So I feel like he has a lot to prove, but at the same time, I feel like he does get a bad rap. So it's hard to say whether, should they move on automatically? Should they bench him? I don't think they should bench him. See what he can do this year. You will need to ask more out of him. If you're not seeing more, look for another quarterback. If you do see more, keep him. And stay with the same OC. Stop firing your OCs with a young quarterback. That's not going to help him out. So with Mariota, it's just my expectations is I say probably around 10-6, 9-7. Hopefully he can show improvement. His defense is too good for him to be 8-8, 7-9. I think he got too many weapons on offense. He has to be able to show improvement from last year. He has to be able to make better throws. He has to be able to win games. And if he is, keep him. And if he's not, let him go. That's all I got to speak. Stay on it. Y'all make your own opinion. It's been real. I'm out.